This is WHIO television.
For 70 years, we've been there for the small moments. You've trusted us during the greatest challenges.
Where we are now shows a tornado.
And the events that shaped our community.
Through the marvels of this great electronic age.
Welcome to News Center 7. I'm Jim Baldry.
We'll continue to honor that legacy.
Good evening. I'm Cheryl McHenry.
And I'm James Brown.
Live Doppler 7 radar show.
We'll be there when it matters most. 70 years of coverage you can count on.
It should have been like any Saturday in Dayton's Oregon District. The sound of music and friends laughing together on a beautiful summer night. Then,
shots fired. Shots fired.
It lasted less than 1 minute. 9 lives taken. Dozens of people rushed to the hospital.
Everybody's just screaming and running and just trying to get away. I've never been that scared before.
Dayton police ran toward the sound of gunfire and put an end to the violence.
I thought I was about to die to the officer. He was like standing over the top of me, like, and he started shooting at the guy. So he saved everybody that was out here.
Now, as our community gathers to mourn and to come together in the face of tragedy, News Center 7 continues coverage of the Oregon District mass shooting.
This is a breaking news update.
Good morning. I'm Cheryl McHenry. News Center 7 coming to you just after 4 on this Sunday morning with news of an active shooter in the Oregon District.
You saw all of this happen. Describe that to me.
Terrifying. It's like the guy just came out and started trying to kill everybody down here.
I'm in shock. You and I've worked here a very long time. I cannot remember this scale of violence. I spent a lot of my 20s in the Oregon District, like many people, and thinking about what happened there and the amount of people that would be there on a Saturday night, a beautiful Saturday night. I just am in shock like everyone else.
It's just unbelievable to me. This happened. I'm going to recap now, just for those of you joining us, because I realize it's 5:15 now. There were 9 confirmed dead now, 16 injured. We do know at least 2 have been treated and released. And there's a family assistance center at the Dayton Convention Center.
Almost all of them overcome with emotion, declining to speak with us, but confirming that they have heard the worst news imaginable.
The Miami Valley mourns the loss of 9 of its own at the hands of a shooter armed to kill hundreds, but his rampage ended thanks to the heroic actions of 6 Dayton police officers.
Tonight, investigators are looking for answers in the investigation into the deadliest shooting in Dayton's history. We have Team 7 coverage on the victims, the packed vigil in the Oregon District, and the shooter himself.
Police identify the shooter as 24-year-old Connor Betts of Bellbrook. The biggest question remaining was, why would someone do this?
Any suggestion at this time of motive would be irresponsible.
I want to show you something here, how people have left their mark on this area all over the place. They've been using chalk to write messages. This one says, Dayton strong, love, many others, urging other people to come here, be part of this, and help the community come together.
Parents of 30-year-old Logan Turner sobbing outside of Ned Pepper's. They left his high school football picture near the door for the community to see.
This is where I hang out and with my friends. I mean, it could have been my friends. It could have been me and my family.
The emotions of the community extremely apparent when Governor Mike DeWine took the stage, the crowd overtaking his speech.
The mayor of Dayton saying this is a city built on grit and resiliency, and everybody here will rise up even stronger than before.
These are the victims. We're seeing pictures of the 9 victims killed. There were 6 Dayton police officers involved in the shooting who took the shooter down, and all being called heroes tonight.
3 days after a gunman took 9 lives in the Oregon District, President Trump stops in Dayton. Cheryl McHenry's exclusive perspective, traveling with the president as he visited with survivors and first responders. Plus, protesters and supporters greet the president.
To be able to see him doing his job, it's good.
Others speak directly to him, including Dayton's mayor.
I think he heard me. I don't know if he will take action. I'm hoping for the people of Dayton that he does.
But for the victims we talked to, they say it feels like only yesterday.
It makes me feel like I got people in my corner, and it makes me know that I got people behind me.
Gunshots, just loud gunshots just everywhere.
We have 9 victims deceased.
Well, this is a terribly sad day for our city.
Life can change in a blink of an eye.
And the only way we're going through this is together.
I continue to be amazed about the grit and resiliency of this community.
Love overcomes.
Let this Gem City shine.
You can take action to help our community heal in the wake of the mass shooting in the Oregon District. Victims' families and survivors have many needs and often not enough resources to cover them. When you give to the Dayton Oregon District Tragedy Fund through the Dayton Foundation, your money goes to the people most impacted. Together, we can rise up again and make a difference. Go to WHIO.com/Dayton Fund to donate.
But exactly what is the action that should be taken? We look for answers to this complex issue as we explore mass shootings, solutions for a safer community.
So I want to start with a question for each one of our guests here tonight. Just take 1 minute. It's the impossible question. Have we learned anything in the last month?
Police training matters, police being properly equipped matters, and police being able to act immediately or promptly matters.
I presented 17 points. Asked the legislature to act on them. We're working on language right now. These are things that, look, we can't ever guarantee that this will never happen again, but what we can do is do things that we know will matter.
From the governor's proposals to Congressman Turner announcing that he's for an assault weapons ban, you know, someone who has an A rating from the NRA making those motions, I think is really important. Do we need more? Yes.
3 months after the Oregon District mass shooting,
he put his hands around her neck and started choking her.
the I-Team uncovers new information about the shooter, Connor Betts, and his violent past right before he made his hit and rape list.
About the lack of a document trail surrounding Oregon District mass shooter Connor Betts.
Ohio law required any of Betts' juvenile red flag records to be expunged just about 2 years before Betts legally bought 2 guns he took with him to commit the mass shooting.
So I went up to him and I tried to get him to leave us alone, to go away, and that's when Connor pulled out a razor knife out of his pocket.
Terry did not report the incident to police, but he says Sugar Creek Township detectives interviewed him about the knife incident in Bellbrook High School's principal's office just a few weeks later. It was the day school officials and police discovered Betts' hit and rape list at the school. I went to Sugar Creek Police in August and asked for any documents the department had tied to Betts. News Center 7 also filed the same public records request with Greene County's juvenile court clerk. Both agencies responded to those requests with the section of Ohio law dealing with juvenile record expungement.
When the forces of nature tear through our towns,
we are dealing with a catastrophic event, a very large, violent tornado on the ground.
Storm Center 7 is there to see you through.
You need to be in your safe spot, absolutely, at this point.
I grabbed Mom, we went in the basement, all hell broke loose.
And as our community rises to meet this challenge,
it's a blessing that we made it out okay.
We will rebuild, we'll get better.
We are here to face it with you.
You need to be in the lowest interior part of a sturdy structure. Get there now. This is a dangerous situation that has been ongoing. I'm sorry, I'm getting choked.
It's okay. And I would advise anybody with kids, get the bike helmets on them. Put them in the basement. Put the helmets on them. You know, this is not a time to think about anything looking silly. Please stay safe. This is a very serious situation, as McCall is pointing out.
Now we're getting a tornado emergency coming in from Montgomery County. That is the highest level of warnings that you can get for this type of situation. This is what you typically see out in the Plain States.
And they end a Memorial Day weekend, so if you're listening on WHIO radio and you're on I-70, get off. If you're in western Montgomery County, do not be there. Get off the highway. There's a tornado activity in that area.
Well, this is a live shot from our drone, our Sky 7 drone, showing that damage. You can see all of the destruction as well. And why we are remaining on air, continuing our Team 7 weather coverage this morning.
We're going to stop this driver. Hey, don't go. Excuse me. Sorry, this is what we've been doing today, trying to make sure. It's so dark, you just can't see. Sorry about that. Want you to be safe.
Aside from all this damage here in this part of Salina, this neighborhood is also, so far, the only place where tragedy has struck. The Kanapkes' next-door neighbor was Dale Hanna. He is, so far, the only person to be killed in Monday's storms.
Honestly, it's the only tears that I've cried. This, it's a life.
and he didn't make it.
Almost the entire roof from the whole house was ripped off and into the kitchen. This is one of the most catastrophic areas that are inside this building right now. The roof is fully exposed.
Cheryl and James, we went ahead and hopped into Storm Tracker 7, and I want to show you why. This is something that we're seeing all over our communities this evening. Debris just starting to pile up in front of homes as people begin the process of cleaning up.
1, 2, 3.
As people powered through day 3 of storm recovery, the horrifying memories from Monday night were still so fresh for some.
Scared out of my life.
It was a neighborhood that Catherine Claiborne actually walked through on a fairly regular basis, walking a loop around the neighborhood. But last Monday afternoon, she stepped out of their home, and Bob didn't know it.
We searched the night through, right through the storm.
Claiborne says he never stopped hoping or looking until Tuesday night when deputies knocked on his door to confirm Catherine had been found under trees and debris.
It's overwhelming. But I have faith.
I am 4'11". I'm standing on a stump that is about maybe 3 feet tall. As you can see, this still towers way above me, and I'm told that it might be even 25 feet tall. But take a look from this vantage point.
This is the crib where I found the American Girl doll.
The crib, I don't know if it's like gone or broken.
Timothy trusted us with this important update.
It's in our car right now.
What? Oh my God.
Do you want to go get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh my God.
WHIO has created an interactive map showing you where to find shelter and water. We've also listed everything you need to know about where you can take a shower, grab free batteries, and wash your clothes on WHIO.com and, of course, on our WHIO News app.
In the aftermath of the tornado outbreak, you can make a big difference right now. I'm Storm Center 7 Chief Meteorologist McCall Vrydag.
And that meteorologist Dante Jones. The most important need across the Miami Valley is fresh food. WHIO TV is teaming up with the Dayton Food Bank to provide free food to the most impacted neighborhoods.
You can help out by going to WHIO.com/tornado relief and making a donation. All the money we raise stays right here in Dayton and will go to the people most affected by these storms.
Immediately, our employees wanted to help. We found out food was the #1 need. I mean, some people lost everything, or couldn't go to work, or make it to a grocery store, or didn't have power for a refrigerator. So we partnered with the Dayton Food Bank and we went right into the devastated communities. Our goal was to raise $20,000. Thanks to the generosity of this community, we quickly raised more than $170,000. And the Cox Foundation added another $120,000 for widespread disaster relief.
This is a special News Center 7 presentation from WHIO TV.
I just keep thinking that it's still unbelievable to me, unfathomable, that we would have 15 tornadoes in one night.
Get there now. This is a dangerous situation that has been ongoing as this, I'm sorry, I'm getting choked up. I'm thinking people are dying.
This is a very serious situation, as McCall is pointing out, so we want everyone in our viewing area, we care about you, we want you to be safe tonight. In my almost 38 years at Channel 7, it was the most important night I've ever worked. As horrible an event as it was, it's such a unifying event too.
You know, I am mid-interview with this woman.
Dear Heavenly Father.
But just the human-to-human compassion, it was just insurmountable.
But man, he was carrying that case of water, and he was helping people. People showing up don't even know so many of these victims, but they didn't need to know their first name or their last name.
We leave you now with Omega Baptist Church choir members singing that song over images of hope from our community.
And from all of us at News Center 7, thank you for watching A Community Rises.
But I'll rise up, high like the waves, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again.
6 months after a devastating tornado outbreak swept through our community, many are still rebuilding.
I just remember thinking all the trees are gone.
In a 3-part News Center 7 series, we take you along the path of the largest tornado.
Now 6 months later, our team found challenges as varied as triumphs, ruins, and repairs, and an overall lingering emotional toll revealed, walking the path of the storm.
This map here shows you the 20-mile path that catastrophic tornado took that night across northern Montgomery County. And 6 months later, that still means issues for many Miami Valley residents in Montgomery County.
At the time we started walking the storm's path last month, Brookville's city manager told our team 161 of those homes either had work completed
like that, and it kept getting faster.
Scary memories for Makila Bent. She and her dog Champion survived the EF4 huddling in her bathroom.
At this point in the EF4 Twister's path, it was growing to its highest wind speeds, up close to 170 miles per hour.
We have this huge tree that's about this big around stump that we need to get out.
Mentally, the storm has left its mark.
It bothered me for months because, one, I felt bad that I didn't protect her good enough. We were in a situation we both could have got killed.
It's a sound that cuts through the air. And when you hear it, you know what to do. But not every community in the Miami Valley has tornado sirens.
We didn't hear anything. If it weren't for Channel 7, we wouldn't know anything about it.
In the wake of the Memorial Day tornadoes, I'm looking into the reasons some places have left sirens behind and what you can do if your town is one of them. A Storm Center 7 special investigation. Monday on News Center 7, beginning at 5.
Tonight, the legacy Detective Del Rio leaves behind.
And our community honors his memory.
James, that officer who was shot last night is Officer George Del Rio. He's a detective on the department since March of 1989. I remember meeting him as a young officer when I covered the Dayton Police Department. I've seen him a number of times over the years with his wife and children. I can tell you he is a devoted family man.
You can see right here, this is video from inside the hospital earlier today. This is what's called an honor walk. We wanted to share this video with you. Now, as you can see right here, police officers, DEA agents, and medical staff were standing in that hallway as the medical staff took Detective Del Rio into an operating room.
I've never seen this outpouring of love and respect and support, and you know what, I'm glad that we don't see it very often. It has been over 17 years since we lost a police officer who died in the line of duty.
Detective George Del Rio, badge 262, will be shown out of service after 30 honorable years with the Dayton Police Department.
Today, hundreds watched the sky above UD Arena as 4 police helicopters flew over Detective George Del Rio's funeral in a missing man formation.
Police departments from our area and around the country said goodbye to Detective Del Rio today. He was shot and killed during a drug raid last week.
No matter how many times you see this kind of thing, the emotional impact really never lessens. I stood here, and for some perspective, this entire section of the parking lot was filled with hundreds of police cruisers.
It's just a blessing. That shows the support that's coming in from all over the United States. And for that line to be that long, the procession, that's great. I retired in December, but I drove all the way from Tennessee because this is my brother. There's no distance too far to come and visit my brother.
We were there as federal investigators unveiled corruption charges.
Did you accept any bribes? Did you have a cheap patio built onto your house as a part of all this?
4 men, including former politicians, now stand indicted as part of an investigation into corruption. And investigators say there could be more arrests. Good afternoon. I'm Cheryl McHenry.
I'm James Brown. News Center 7 cut into programming to first break this story this morning. The men indicted here, Brian Higgins, former State Representative Clayton Luckey, former Dayton City Commissioner Joey Williams, and current City of Dayton employee Rashawn Winburn.
The men at the center of this investigation, those being targeted, their time in Dayton politics and in doing business here in Dayton. That all goes back decades.
Now, I told you at noon that our questions had prompted city leaders to decide to make a statement about what they're doing.
There is anger, there's frustration, there is abject sadness.
Surprise you?
Yes, it really did, especially after Clayton Luckey got in trouble before.
All 4 pleaded not guilty on the 5th floor of this federal building today, and then most of them came out of this door and told us the same thing, at least those who would talk to us.
Did you have a cheap patio built onto your house as a part of all this?
Prosecutors say he took free benefits like cash and discounts on a patio on his home in exchange for contracts.
Look, right now, he's undergoing a difficult situation for him and his family.
I love my son. I stand behind my son. I support him in this situation that he's in right now.
Winburn says his son hasn't gotten a chance yet to tell his side of the story.
The Dayton City Hall corruption probe. It's produced 4 federal criminal cases so far.
What appears to be a culture of corruption in Dayton area politics.
Now, the I-Team looks at what it's like to be a target of the FBI.
Investigations like this, they could be years in the making. We're learning about the techniques used by the FBI to collect evidence.
Electronic surveillance, physical searches, GPS surveillance, confidential human sources, undercover operations.
Using the signal from your cell phone, they could track your travels by GPS, see where you're going and when, plus who you're meeting with, if that other person is also on the FBI's radar. If there was so much wrongdoing at City Hall, why wasn't it uncovered earlier by regular audits?
And I would always say, if somebody's got larceny in their heart, they're going to steal from you.
The I-Team found in Dayton's case, the city even bragged in 2016, saying, quote, "State auditor confirms clean audit for City of Dayton."
Thousands still have to boil their water while customers empty shelves across Montgomery County.
Now, where everyone stands on the day after thousands had no water at all. News Center 7 starts now.
So this is old school, folks. I have the mayor on my speakerphone. Good evening, Mayor. You are live on Channel 7. I want you to tell us, where is the city of Dayton now with this boil advisory and the concerns across the county?
We have our crews doing everything they can to really find where this problem is happening. It is not. I've seen some Twitter actions asking if it's an act of domestic terrorism or anything like that. It's not.
James, this is key for so many people tonight, bottled water. So much so, in fact, we're hearing grocery stores around Montgomery County and perhaps next Greene County are actually selling out of bottled water and water in jugs as well. That's because this is about 250,000 people who use the water that is provided by the City of Dayton system.
Here, we moved here in just the last few minutes. You heard Mayor Whaley mention, James, at the top of the show, that they have not yet determined the originating point of this problem. Customers like Sky Roberts rushed over to buy bottled water.
But at least my dog will have water, and I can brush my teeth.
She hopes it'll be back on soon, but in the meantime, she's looking on the bright side.
I have heat, I have a roof over my head.
Schools and businesses around our area closed this morning after the massive countywide boil advisory was issued. Right now, our Team 7 coverage continues.
Well, what I can tell you, Adam, is that we are live downtown here at Montgomery County's Rybold building. This is where Public Health Dayton and Montgomery County is headquartered, and I can tell you that both city and county leaders are treating this as a public health crisis.
I want to make sure that we have enough drinking water for the general public, and we start first with our high-risk areas. So we start with our hospitals, our areas such as Stillwater, so Premier and Kettering Health Network.
Right, and I just got done talking with a fella that was very glad to see what you see here. Now, I'm in Oakwood. I am at Dorothy Lane Market. It's open 24 hours, and that has been a good thing for a lot of people that are without water or have low water pressure or need to boil their water.
This was that social media post that Mayor Nan Wheatley had put up, and I want to talk a little bit of perspective about where those crews were working. Chute Mill Road, right along the Stillwater River, was one of those locations. And it is important. The Stillwater River does meet up with the Great Miami River. Both of them are actually near flood stage still this morning.
It's a situation Montgomery County calls potentially deadly.
No water anywhere.
Our I-Team investigation found...
Jim Oddie investigates why the City of Dayton was not able to keep the water flowing to everyone after the tornado outbreak.
Water is the lifeblood of any community.
And the reason they are hesitant to invest in fixing the problem.
I just think that they should have a better backup plan for next time.
Dayton's water weakness, an I-Team investigation today on News Center 7 beginning at 5:30.
I was upset because I wanted to take a shower. But I never lost water like that.
Documents obtained by the I-Team show Dayton's request for power generator help came at 2:37 a.m., just a couple of hours after the storm hit. Our I-Team investigation found, yes, it would cost many millions of dollars to provide backup generation at every one of these pumping stations. But at the same time, customers are telling us they don't want to hear that. They want the water to continue to flow despite the storms.
The stories that impact you, your family, our community.
News Center 7's I-Team digs into the tough investigations.
Community safety, corruption, unsolved crime.
Standing up for people here in the Miami Valley. Holding those in power accountable.
And combing through the evidence to bring you real, clear answers.
It's It's what drives us every single day.
The new Center 7 I-Team. That's coverage you can count on.
We were able to identify 88 female first grade students who had some type of physical interactions with Mr. Hopkins.
An I-Team exclusive.
In all videos, he's inappropriately touching her.
News Center 7 reached out to Springboro schools multiple times requesting an on-camera interview for the story. They declined, but did provide us with a statement.
Clear Creek Elementary has not implemented child sexual abuse education for students.
Had Aaron's Law existed, I guarantee you we would not be seeing the number of children that have been abused.
36 states have passed the legislation, but Ohio is not one of them.
What do you want the message to be to state lawmakers?
What's taking so long?
A Miami Valley teacher had sex with that father's son.
It's disgusting.
Tonight, in his first television interview, he speaks exclusively with the I-Team. But when the I-Team dug deeper into those license numbers, I discovered current state rules make it hard to know if teachers' sexual misconduct is increasing. But under current teacher rules, the I-Team discovered it's not clear how many of those hundreds of cases, if any, involved sexual misconduct.
In just moments, our investigation digs deeper into this new technology. But the I-Team's John Bedell and photojournalist Brad Lee dug even deeper than that, recording video of their news vehicle's back window as they drove the right way when many of these crashes happened.
Then reversing the video.
We went back and rewound the video to see what a wrong-way driver would see and to test ODOT standards and checked more than 30 exit ramps. During our drive on 675 and 75, all the ramps we drove had the required signage.
An I-Team investigation 3 years in the making.
The VA's own rule to pay for non-VA emergency care is named after Staub. But a loophole in the Staub rule could leave any veteran vulnerable to massive medical debt.
Should you cry for all the other servicemen that haven't got theirs just? It's just not me. It's all the other ones.
To answer that question, our reporting was brought up during this May hearing.
We did attach to our reply brief, and this is all we really have to go on, a newspaper article reporting that there's been a single payment of $12 since the time that the regulations...
10 years after the Fort Hood, Texas mass shooting.
Captain Gaffney died on my knees.
Ohio survivors and their loved ones are still fighting for benefits they say the federal government owes them.
To me, this is unfinished business.
Now the I-Team examines the loophole survivors say is standing in the way of closure and justice.
Some soldiers from our area were there that day. Some told me they and their families are still fighting for medical benefits and honors they think they deserve.
I was diagnosed with prostate cancer.
But since Paul served in Thailand instead of Vietnam, his Veterans Administration benefits do not cover his Agent Orange exposure.
We were the bomber days.
Bob McHenry showed us maps of the bases in Thailand. He also showed us declassified documents that claim Agent Orange was only sprayed on the base perimeters.
For more than a decade, I have crisscrossed the Miami Valley and parts of Indiana. What are you doing here?
Having a ball.
Watching our neighbors do great things in their communities.
Lady in purple, my favorite color. I got you.
These people don't look for a thank you or a pat on the back, but this is our way of putting a special spotlight on them.
And all the guys here are great young men.
I went through talking with him at first. I'm going to go back and holler at him. Welcome, ma'am.
And he just ran around telling everybody, hey, I get my shirt now, I get my shirts.
These folks are making a difference.
Hi again, everybody. Ready or not, it's time to kick off another high school football season, a milestone for us here at WHIO TV. It's the 30th year that we will bring you all the highlights and hoopla with Touchdown 7.
Just scoring a touchdown is history for this Greenview team. It's been 5 games dating back to last season.
So for the first time since 1986, they can ring the victory bell here at Greenview.
Hi again, everybody. It was Media Day here in Scottsdale today, the final time that players from Ohio State and Clemson would face the microphones before Saturday's national semifinal in the Fiesta Bowl.
But last night it kind of set in, and now it's surreal to where, you know, that clock, everybody has a clock, and my clock is winding down, so I'm just trying to enjoy every moment of it with the boys. And
I look for it to be a great game, and the Buckeyes should prevail.
The folks in Trotwood love their Rams. State basketball champions this past season. The football team is a perennial contender. Now it's the athletes' turn.
This means a lot just to get back to our community and just to let the community know that we're here for them. It's shocking. I honestly didn't know it hit this hard, but we're glad that we could help anyone.